According to PN, NBC has confirmed that it is terminating its partnership with NFL analyst Shannon Sharpe. There's someone after Sharpe. The Hall of Fame Titan's case alleging sexual assault and abuse was, of course, resolved. In a way, Katt Williams isn't being reserved. He is violent and recently snapped at Shannon Sharpe. Katt didn't feel sorry for Shannon after he got fired from ESPN. He was essentially stating, "How are you going to give everybody advice and then fall for the oldest trick in the book?" Gabriela Zuniga, a former OnlyFans model, and Shannon recently reached a settlement in a $50 million lawsuit. Then, like a hot potato, ESPN rejected him. At this stage, things start to get absurd. Katt had cautioned him. Katt took a direct approach to Shannon on Club Shay Shay, cautioning him that tampering with some women could ruin his career. And Monique co-signed that, along with some wise dating advice. Shannon dismissed it though, and went back to work. And take a look at his landing. Degraded, jobless, and writing a check for a fortune for a home. Instead of being intelligent, Shannon was compelled to pay a hefty compensation, lose his job, and make the news. He has lost the interest of ESPN in working with him. Let's face it, what major network would want to deal with a man whose most prominent story is around a complex legal dispute? Katt is without empathy, according to Shannon's close friends. Katt had the inside scoop long before the scandal started. One insider says he was aware that Shannon was speaking to Gabriela and had anticipated the entire situation. Katt criticized Shannon without mentioning Jonathan Major, even though it seemed like he was discussing the Jonathan Major incident. It just serves to illustrate it. Even if he makes jokes, Katt never tells lies. Shannon is suffering as a result of his failure to pay attention. The most absurd component was Shannon's belief that a deal with Gabriela would fix the problem and save his ESPN contract. ESPN terminated the contract, however, even after he wrote that check. But here's the deal. Following the announcement of the settlement, Gabriela left OnlyFans one day later. She wrote on Instagram, "Today, I have decided to retire from OnlyFans. Thank you so much for all of your amazing help over the past few years. This community has given me a life that is beyond my expectations." Together with continuing to be active on social media, I'm excited to share some new projects that I'm working on. I'm excited about this next phase. She actually had the most flexible retirement plan available because of Shannon. She didn't return to that group of apps. Having to deal with the garish man in his 50s who believed he could play the game well made Gabriela feel successful. However, supporters don't feel sorry for Shannon. They are pulling him back and forth for being taken advantage of, but also for the hypocrisy of it. This is the same individual who stated that he would not get his own daughter married for more than $30,000. Gabriela, however, was billing him $25,000 a night for each motel sheet, according to the stolen correspondence. One ex-member claimed that it was necessary to reveal Shannon's hypocrisy. What respect he had evaporated. He's out here now handing a former employee millions, but his intention was only to contribute $30,000 to his daughter's wedding. Shannon Sharpe has done a lot of wrong things, but hearing that he was frugal with his daughter's wedding made me really side-eye that country bumpkin, someone else stated. That young white girl thought you were a lick, and that cost you additional money. That was really stupid. The worst part is that ESPN remained silent when Shannon gave Gabriella those millions. No, when People magazine asked ESPN to provide a statement, the company said, nope. They were unwilling to participate. How did Shannon react? He finally appeared on the July 30th episode of the Nightcap podcast. By expressing his satisfaction with ESPN's choice, he attempted to appear composed. But according to insiders, he pleaded with them not to bother him. Behind the scenes, things got far more hectic. At the induction of his older brother, Sterling Sharpe, into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, Shannon Sharpe pleaded with PN not to reveal his dismissal. Shannon was aware that the lawsuit and Sterling's abrupt termination from ESPN would overshadow his celebration. For stealing the show, he even expressed regret to him. Disney and ESPN, however, didn't care at all. They silenced him and then moved forward without stopping. This is where things start to get a little wacky. This is how close Shannon was to landing a $100 million contract until the case became viral. The talks for a massive podcast contract that would have connected all of his media endeavors had advanced. Club, Shay, Club, 520, The Bubba Dub Show, Nightcap with Chad Johnson, and Humble Baddies. He would become a media tycoon after that deal. In fact, Front Office Sports asserted that Shannon was anticipated to sign a contract for more than $100 million just 3 days prior to Gabriella's shocking lawsuit. Unfortunately, that deal is no longer available. The poof, he was released by ESPN. Suddenly, Shannon has lost the opportunity to collaborate with Disney-owned platforms ABC, Hulu, and ESPN. Particularly in corporate media, it is nearly impossible to recover from a public humiliation this loud and nasty. He destroyed his entire media empire before it had even begun when he chose to alter a 19-year-old OnlyFans model. As Katt Williams had warned earlier, no one is sympathetic to Shannon. Everything was his. Why did he forgo influence, wealth, and power? Let us tell the truth. There was no backstory or preparation to this. All the warning signs were there, yet Shannon rushed straight into trouble. It's over the $100 million dream. His headshot was dragged onto the floor, and that shiny ESPN seat was empty. However, what do you think? Are Shannon's careless actions all her fault? Or ought ESPN to have given him a chance again? If he told his own daughter to stay within a $30,000 wedding budget, how do you feel about him delivering a large check to an OnlyFans model? I'd want to discuss it in the comments, in order to access the authentic breakdowns that are unavailable elsewhere. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And see you at the following.